Oh hey, if you're into screaming your lungs out and listening to heavy metal music, then this video is a wake-up call. I'm going to tell you about how I completely lost my vocal range, and what you can do to avoid the same fate. Hi, my name is Garrett Campbell. I've performed in multiple heavy metal projects such as Asterize, Antagonist, and Frigid Spell. I've had multiple online students that I've taught how to scream, and I've had the privilege of playing live with some very talented groups. If you're into metal vocals, this is the one video you don't want to miss. I'm going to break down the mistakes I made, how it all went wrong, and how you can keep your voice intact while still pushing your limits. So when I was around 13, 14, I started to get into heavy metal music. I listened to bands like Rob Rock, Avantasia, Halloween, and these bands really influenced my lifestyle and the type of music that I wanted to create. And initially, I had great success in finding my own heavy metal voice. I started to do vocal covers, and I got a great reception from people in the power metal scene saying that I had a great voice for metal. My voice was getting stronger, and people would compliment me all the time on how much my voice had grown. At that point, I felt invincible, and I definitely took the route of more is better and pushing through the pain, which so many beginning metal vocalists tend to have. And while at first this mindset helped me improve and push myself and practice more and work more and record more and do more demos, it eventually led to some quite detrimental effects. So any metalhead knows that the biggest thing about metal is the intensity, right? It has to be crazy and in your face and powerful. And so my problem was I would always overexert my voice, even in talking. I'd be like, hey man, how's it going? Are you ready to play the gig tonight? Yeah! And I'd be, I guess, just the autism just coming out through my voice. That eventually caused me to get hoarse. I would get hoarse after rehearsals. I would push myself too hard during gigs and auditions. I played with a good friend of mine out in, I think it's Sapulpa. He invited me to his friend's studio, and we had a jam session, and I did some harsh vocals and some clean vocals, some James Hetfield stuff. It sounded really good, but afterwards my voice was fried. And this is all because I was focused on hitting the harder notes and maintaining the intensity of my performance while compromising my vocal technique and preserving my voice. So there were definitely moments that I started to notice something was not right about my voice. I would say when it started was around 2020. My first single, Stand Together for the Glory, my voice was feeling good, but I did notice some things when I would try to sing for a prolonged period of time. And as any of you know who have done power metal, it's extremely hard to sing, and you have to have a lot of vocal control to be able to sing it well. So anyway, I would get a raspy throat, I'd get where I couldn't sing low or I couldn't sing high, but I ignored it. Constant screaming and practicing of your voice, even if it's healthy, no matter how you do it, it's going to be hard on your voice. And these things will always eventually lead to pitch control loss, fatigue, and vocal damage, sometimes even resulting in vocal nodules or polyps. So about half a year ago, I finally gave in and went to see an ENT, which is an ear, nose, and throat doctor. These are the doctors that can stick a camera down your throat to see what your vocal cords are doing if they've been damaged. So what my ENT found is that my vocal cords did not have polyps on them or nodules, but they were extremely inflamed. I had vocal cord inflammation, which is not fun. I don't know why I smiled while I said that. My vocal cord tissues that flap together in my throat were a grayish color instead of a white like they should be. And this is because blood has
become more prevalent in the tissues, they become swollen, and so they can't vibrate as fast.
Therefore, you can't sing as high.
That's you singing.
Yeah, I haven't seen this before.
These little white spots here on your vocal cords is probably just some thick mucus that if you were to drink and gargle, these little white spots would probably go away. But your vocal cords are edematous or swollen. Typically vocal cords have this very prominent white look to them, and yours have more of this gray look. And sometimes that's because there's a little bit of fluid within the tissues, just like if you banged your hand and it was swollen, a little bit of fluid. Mm-hmm. And for singers, that's typically a voice overuse problem. Okay.
And just to put things in perspective, I'm not talking about just like something decently high. I used to be able to hit extremely high notes. Take this for example, and Stand Together for the Glory. And here's another example from a song called Power Wind by Twilight Force. So not to brag or anything, but I could hit a few crazy high notes. And what my ENT said has still stuck with me to this day. He said, Garrett, you're gonna have to choose one or the other. You're gonna have to choose to be a power metal singer, a harsh vocalist, or neither. And that just hit me like, how. This is the music that I love.
If I want to sing in the shower, why can't I sing in the shower?
We'll save that answer for later in the video, but loss of range and even the emotional impact of losing what you thought you had found
In a
beautiful, range-filled, unique voice. So I want you to imagine for a second that your favorite singer transcribed their voice into your throat. You got a transfusion, they rip their throat out and put it in yours. Would you take good care of it, or would you just push it beyond all its limits and just go crazy with it and have fun? You would take care of it, wouldn't you? Because you realized how valuable it is, and if you lose it, you've lost an extremely valuable instrument. And furthermore, the ability to bless a lot of people out there in the world. I experienced extreme disappointment, frustration, and even guilt and regret about the way that I had treated my voice. That God had given me this gift of a voice, and I didn't take care of it, and now I lost that gift. And while there's still hope for me to regain those parts of my range, some vocal damage cannot be undone. Big disclaimer, I'm not dissing any harsh vocals. I was a huge fan of metal, and I still have extreme respect for any vocalist in the scene and any musicians in the scene, as they are extremely talented. I cannot stress to you how important proper vocal training and technique is to having a long-lasting vocal career and a healthy voice. Screaming is not just about raw power, but it's about using the right muscles without the wrong ones, and using proper breath control, voice placement, and a million different other factors that are extremely hard to find. Proper warm-ups and cool-downs are essential to having a healthy voice. And these are things that I never did. I would just belt out a few super high notes right before a gig, and then I'd go sing. And that's probably the worst thing that you could do for your voice. So have a warm-up, have a warm-down, cool down, whatever that means, I don't know. And give your voice proper rest. If you don't sleep, if you don't take care of yourself physically, get some exercise, go out and find some sunlight. If you aren't taking care of yourself mentally, it's going to be detrimental to your voice, and you won't be able to sing as long in the future. Stay hydrated, eat healthy foods, don't eat acidic foods or anything right close to bed so that it doesn't come up and eat away your vocal cords. These are things that you know, but I, as a passionate vocalist and someone who loves to sing and make music, I am telling you that those vocal coaches who are saying,
"Oh, don't eat before bed, you know, it's gonna hurt your voice."
It's because it will. This is not a bunch of BS. This is real advice from people who have studied people who lost their voice just like me, and who have worked with those people to try to get them back there. So know your limits. Know how far you can push your voice. Know when to stop pushing your voice. If I would have listened to my body when I felt tickles and burning in my throat, I wouldn't be here today telling you all this. Bottom line, you can't scream if you don't have a voice. Cheers. So how do you protect your voice then? Well, I've already told you all the keys. Breathing technique, vocal rest, seeing a doctor, and the fourth one is the most important. Scream mindfully. Don't just let it out with no thought or effort. Put some thought into how that's going to affect your voice. And do it in the way that best respects your voice. As a voice that has limits, as a voice that has its own strengths and weaknesses. You can scream mindful and still scream hard. But if you love your voice, and I know you do, somewhere in there, little person who I'm talking to, please, just listen to me. Take care of your voice, okay? I hope my experience serves as a warning. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Take your voice and teach it, train it, and treasure it as a gift from God. That way you can keep on singing for years to come. Like, comment, and share this video, guys, if you found this helpful, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content. I'd love to know about y'all's experience with vocals and you guys' stories. So make sure to write me an email at Garrettcampbellmusic.com, and I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Stay safe, scream smart, and remember, metal never dies, but your voice can, if you're not careful. Thanks for watching, and God bless.